That's it.
Because that's expected. They're behind Trump in the battle. So, like you said, it's Musk that will lose, you know. But then, even when you lose this money, like I say, no, he lost $34 billion.
Yes.
What is $34 billion? This guy is worth $336 billion. Do you understand? The money we are talking about is not money that even one country should. There's no country in Africa that is that rich.
Okay.
And this is just paper money. By next week, when they reconcile and things go up again, the shares will recover, and then it's back to where he used to be or more. So,
all right. Yeah. Well, I just need us to put that in because a lot of inquiries came. People have been calling what's going on. Okay, I'll quickly just deal with that. And I'm sure that, look, there's a lot that people can read up to, watch on what has just been happening between President Trump and his friend, the billionaire Elon Musk, who is also this evening. Sorry, a little distraction there. And the first one is the issue of insecurity. Nuruddin, Barrister Curtis Joseph Flosha, I had to quickly bring in this issue because, again, consistently we are seeing almost the same pattern, the same talk from our politicians, and now from the home state of Barrister Curtis Sadiq, Benue State, Governor Reverend Father Isen't Alia, is saying that, look, there are powerful politicians in Abuja who are responsible for the Benue attacks. Almost sounding similar to what the Senator Oduzo-Kalu said recently about the fact that, look, the insecurity we have in the country at this time is a result of the desperation of politicians to take over power, to get into power. They are the ones sponsoring these things, pushing people out. He talked about Boko Haram specifically. So you also have a situation where the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Isen't Alia, is saying that, look, and this is the way he puts it so that we can have proper context with the conversation, that, look, he has alleged that top politicians in Abuja and the National Assembly are responsible for, listen again, Barrister Nuruddin Joseph, that, look, top politicians in Abuja and the National Assembly are responsible for Friday's Politics Today program on Channels Television. He described the situation as very unsettling, noting that while the said politicians were interested in fighting for their position, it was his right to protect and serve the interest of the masses. That's the first conversation. We're also going to talk about Hurricane Tinubu, which is about the sweeping of opposition politicians to the party. Eventually, we've seen the official defection of 4 governors in the opposition that may also be declaring soon for the APs, that may be leaving the PDP for the APC. So that's going to be the second conversation for the evening. And then finally, we'll come back to Lagos. Where is the governor? That's what people are telling me. The president has been in Lagos now for over 1 week for the Salah celebration. We started by talking about the numerous visits. So many people have visited the president. The governor has not been seen near Mr. President. He has not even made. The governor has also been missing. It's all started with the snub when at the commissioning of the Lagos. We'll talk about that, but there was a visible snub of the governor by the president. But now we also have situations where the president inaugurated the Lekki Deep Sea Port Road. The governor was not present at that event. It was the deputy governor that was present, even though there was a chair reserved, a seat reserved for the governor. It was empty, and so the deputy governor was just sitting by his own seat. And there are questions about the frosty relationship of the governor and his supposed godfather, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has gone. We don't know. But there are a lot of things that people are talking about as a possible problem between the governor and the president. We'll look at some of those things, the political permutations, what are the underlying issues. But firstly, Barrister Curtis Sadiq, the governor of your state is talking about politicians in Abuja. He said politicians in Abuja and some National Assembly members are the reason why Benue State has known no peace. He's saying that he's going to do his best to continue to keep people safe. But what do you make of this statement from the governor?
Okay, so first and foremost, let me say that the killings in Benue are not new. You recall that even the time of President Jonathan, the killing started during the time of President Jonathan. I think Yar'Adua before Jonathan, and then it kept on going since that time. Okay, I think that yes, the intensification of the killings in the state in Benue and Plateau may have political undertone, but I think what the governor is trying to do here is play politics with the issue. Play politics with the issue in the sense that it will give him some political mileage to say that, that I think it's coming too late. Because when this governor was sworn in, people brought to him this very issue of killings in different parts of Benue. Again, like I said, it started from my own area, the Agatu area. At that time, autumn, when he intensified at that time, during the regime of autumn, it was the worst case scenario in my own part of the state. And you know that Governor Autumn never visited Agatu area. In fact, as far as he was concerned, since it wasn't happening in his own part of the state, it was a non-issue. After all, these are minority people. It's their problem. Let them deal with it. Now, it took our own people to appeal to the governor of Nasarawa, Tanko Amakura, to then reach out to these Fulani herders and who donated a large swath of land to the herders so that they don't have to go to the farm of our people anymore. And that brought a little bit of relief to our people before the killings again resumed. And you remember that Autumn used to come out and cry on TV then. There was one particular one, I think the president was not in the country and the vice president had to go. They were given a mass burial. And Autumn was so distraught, he said all kind of things. So that was the situation, that of reconciliation. He told the people of the state that, look, Fulanis are Nigerians and they have the right to be here, just like Nigerians, people from Benue are in other parts of the country, all right? So long as they obey the extant law message. But what he didn't realize is that these guys they are not hopeful about the state called Nigeria the way it is.
These troublemakers.
As far as they are concerned, they can only be hopeless in their own country. Because how do you explain a situation where people will just go into farms and allow their cattle to eat up the farm produce? And what we have been told, both by, is that the perpetrators are foreigners. They are not from Nigeria. And the question we have always asked, if they are foreigners, whose responsibility is it to prevent foreigners from entering our country? Is it not the same government? How does it give consolation to the people that every time people are massacred in their homes, all you say to them is, government is on top of the situation.
We'll bring them to justice.
Whereas the situation is on top of you. The situation is on top of them, they are not on top of the situation. So now the governor is trying to politicize a security problem. Yes, I know he has problem with Akume, and he has problem with some other political leaders who are senators. Yes,
from
because
Benue State.
They are supporting Akume against him. And maybe there's been this rumor going around that some of these things are being encouraged so that a state of emergency can be declared.
Yeah, we've seen some church leaders who have called for a state of emergency in Benue State, and well, that has been dismissed by the governor himself. That's just like putting up a script.
Well, that's what he would tell you. That's what he would tell you. He was warned about seeking to accommodate these same people and reconcile with them, and that a time will come when they will deal with him. And truly now that he's having problem with his political godfather, and it's looking more like the man will not back him for a second term. He's now sending out the warning that
politics. What other option would it have? What would have been the option for him, Barrister? What would have been the option for him?
Let me tell you, this is what I believe. Every Nigerian is entitled to live in any part of the country that he desires or wishes. But they have to do so by the dictates of the law. And you see, one of our biggest problems is that we do not enforce our laws. There are people that are above the law in Nigeria. Whatever they do, they will go scot-free. There are no consequences for bad behavior, which is even why we're having problem with corruption so much. Nobody is afraid to be corrupt because there are no consequences. Do you understand?
I'm with you.
So why the governor is right to have sought to reconcile is that the people he wants to reconcile with are not prepared for reconciliation. The only time that they seek is done in Yoruba land also, they are killings. In the Middle Belt, they are killings. How many are there? What is the game plan to take over the entire country and send the rest of us out of the country?
All right.
So I think it's beyond politics, as the governor wants us to believe. This is an existential security problem. There may be policy to gain what? These are the people that will vote for them. Doesn't make sense.
Okay, it doesn't make sense. Nuruddin, I'm sure you are very familiar with that particular part of the country. Again, the issues between herders, farmers, it's been very consistent. Too many reports really about these killings, this invasion of farms, retaliation in part of the in the north central part of the country. Benue Plateau mostly comes into the conversation anytime we talk about herders have invaded farms, they ransack, I think at some point even the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mufwang, had to say that, look, this is more like an attempt to wipe out people. It's almost like a genocide. It's genocidal in nature. And we have always talked about the fact that, look, when we talk about insecurity, can we leave politics aside? I'm surprised that Reverend Father Alia, we are taught that, look, it's just about people who are trying to take over land, the dispute of the sold land to me, they didn't sell to me, your forefather sold the land before, we have a right to be here, we want grazing route for our cattle. But when you have the governor, who is supposed to be the chief security officer of the state, now sounding like, look, beyond all of the things we've always talked about or what you think are the problem, there are also political undertones. There are people who are also sponsoring these people. How do we end this killing? Or you think it's a lost cause? There's no hope really that these killings will end.
Well, there is no crisis that cannot be stopped. But when it has some certain ingredient in it, it's going to be very difficult.
Political coloration.
As much as we could say that Reverend Father Alia wants to put politics in the issue of insecurity in Benue, we should also not forget that politicians that are in the opposite side too can also use this as a tool in the hand of politicians. Politicians use insecurity as a tool.
So when they see there's a problem, they just go and they make it worse for the people.
They do it. Okay, what happened in Rivers before the president declared state of emergency? It's because some certain side of the politicians want that
problem to happen.
They want it to happen and they want the president to declare. So as much as we could say he put politics inside it, those people opposing to him, we did.
So we can't dismiss those things.
We can't dismiss it because they have been doing that. Even in other states, it has happened in Nigeria before. It has happened even in Katsina, where you see some certain politicians, they will be financing some certain people to be doing
to cause trouble in the state
against the people of the state. It can also happen. But one thing there is saying everything about it is about politicians sponsoring. That one is incorrect.
It can't be just about politicians sponsoring people.
Because this particular issue, even before
he came into
so automatically, even declaring state of emergency in that state will not still stop it.
Will not solve the problem.
One of the things that can be done there is sincerity of purpose. Sincerity of purpose. Anybody, whatever any committee that is going to be sitting down, maybe federal government is going to put itself into it, there must be sincerity of purpose. Everybody involved
must be sincere about solving the problem.
Look, one of the things, don't forget, out of the factors of production, land is so fixed. That's why you see that people don't fight about machine.
A lot of times.
But on fixed commodity like land, you will see some. It's just like seeing this issue because they don't have power. They are armless. They are watching it. The day they have power,
they start the fight too. They continue with the fight.
The same way with this. Both federal government should not leave it to the state government because it is very obvious that state government cannot even do it in Benue. Federal government needs to come into being. They need to come into being, and there must be sincerity of purpose. They must be sincere. That is one of the things. Then the second one, yes, that you see it continuing in that particular manner, you will understand that there is still political hand in it. It depends on the side that those politicians are. Don't forget, if Autumn, the former governor, can be crying the same Reverend Alia is also crying, automatically there is something static in that particular fight. Politicians, they must remove themselves from it and let it be settled. Then another thing again, especially in the North Central, stylishly, this kind of thing is also happening in part of Kwara.
Can we just appeal to whoever is calling us at this time that look, this is not the time to call into the show. We can't pick the show. Yes, no.
So it also happened in other states, even in the North Central. Look, we must call a spade a spade. And block it off, get the food for them there.
What you call ranches?
Don't call ranches. It's a business.
So this
you can't use your own
to disturb others.
How can you come to my father's land? You don't say because you are and I have my own crops. I have invested solely on the farming. You now bring your own cows and you think I'm going to just fold my hand and be looking at it. Well, and security operatives too. They shouldn't be taking sides. Because one of the things there is this. Look, this part, because one thing there is that I know my grandfather's land. My father took me there. I saw what those people call themselves rearers are doing. Why security operatives, irrespective of anybody in power, either as commissioner, either is irrespective of in Benue, they need to be neutral. And they need to call spade a spade.
And do the right thing. Okay, Joseph Olonsho, you need to come close to the mic. Again, call a spade a spade. Today we're going to talk about insecurity because, again, we've talked a lot about politics. But, again, where's the politics without the safety of the people? We can't talk about governance without the safety of the people. The north central part of the country has been in the news for a lot of killings in the last 1, 2, 3 months. Consistently between Plateau and Benue State, we're almost losing count. It's almost like a daily ritual. People just attack villages in the name of others attacking farmers. It's crazy to say the least. But here we are, the governor is now sounding like the media person. I'm sure when he was campaigning, Nuruddin, he also talked about the fact that, look, I will secure you, my people. I remember Autumn lamented for 8 years.
Said the same thing before
he came in too.
You know the issue. Hello. The issue there is Oga Fuad. You know, when you go back to Autumn, you remember that slogan when Autumn was complaining. Now the CP of Lagos, it was the first public PRO.
Then.
He said Autumn is a drum man. If you can still remember,
of course, yes, I do.
And issue there because Autumn was, as a governor, you have classify information on what is actually going on. I think the biggest calamity we have in Nigeria is our security agency are more politicians than political.
They're not doing the job. They are also behaving like politicians.
When you talk of professionalism, they take their professionalism from whatever the politicians say.
Tell them.
Because one, it is they determine their promotion, money, approval of their budget, and just
so they also align politically.
They align politically. It's only if it is when they because that time. Secondly,
when the people know that there's no vote anywhere.
No concern. Secondly, I think it is time for particularly the IGP should always not be giving Nigeria a false hope. Hey, everybody should go about his business. Our men were on top of the situation, and you are asking me to go about
I'm sure
business.
Nobody believes in
and
it.
People are there going about their business. They are being killed every day. If you look at all the story, all the people should do their celebration, and you will hear news later that people have been killed
in those areas.
I've been saying it here, and many other. I've never seen any IGP in Nigeria that's supposed to stay up to 2 months. until when we have
their performance.
Until when we have an IGP or head of agency, a security agency, who will now say, okay, Oga, you know, in the last month ago, it is only like 5 people that they kill
every day.
Your own, if you do not take it down to like 2 or 1, we only have 2 month probation. You can't see in this kind of system, you cannot see any security agency that will not be on common flag 24 hours.
So you think that already? So you think they are?
But you see some of them on ceremonials dressing as if
there
are a big kill in Niger State, there are a big kill in Edo State, Benue State. That is not an issue. So let them stop giving us what we call false hope. And my friend has been in UK now for almost 4 years. He said he has never one day seen a military man in UK, United Kingdom.
I believe
they
only be deployed when there's a serious issue.
A
soldier,
is in US now. I don't know if he has, since he has left, and whether he has seen a military man.
Soldiers,
there was a day around for 2 weeks.
Yes, I'm with you, Barrister.
I got 2 weeks. Immediately I leave my house, I was counting the number of firearms I will see from my place to Ikeja. There's no day I count less than 40-something firearms.
You have too many AK-47.
Yes, the former central bank governor of India.
Okay. I thought you wanted to talk about Emefiele.
No, a law professor.
Okay.
Wrote a book entitled The Third Pillar.
The Third Pillar. Okay.
Yes, and in that book, he identifies the 3 pillars in the society as the government, the market, and the community.
Sorry, come again. The what?
He identified 3 pillars.
Okay.
That every progressive society must have
and preserve.
The government is the first pillar. The market, in bracket, the economy or corporation, is the second one. The third one is the community, which happens to be the most important.
That concerns the people.
He argued he argued in that book that in most underdeveloped parts of the world, what you have is the prominence of the government and the market, and the abandonment of the community. Now, let me break it down. If you come to Nigeria today, right, you will notice that the government is oversecured. The corporations, the banks, the chief executives of banks, their buildings, their property, where majority of the people live, is where you don't find security. And he argues that it's from the community that undesirable elements will then go to trouble both the government and the market. And that's exactly what we are seeing. Margaret Thatcher said that the state is an artificial construct. The interest of the community is not the priority of the government. The situation in Nigeria is what you would find. The problem with our government is that those in government at any point in time believe that when something bad happens and we point it out to them, we are demarketing them. Instead of thinking about the problem and seeing how this problem will be solved. So when people complain and say, oh, insecurity is destroying us, you have a police commissioner come out to attack the governor. Instead of saying to the governor, how can we work through this problem?
To solve this problem.
These problems don't have political parties. They are not APC or PDP. They are not contesting to be president or not president.
Nigerians are being killed. That's what we are saying.
But politics is about the people. Politics is about solving problems. It's not about dodging problems. It's not about wanting to take credit for what you have not deserved.
Or looking for who to blame.
Or looking for who to blame. Now, can you imagine how ugly it is for a governor who is going to say, the problems in my state have been funded by political opponents. When in an ideal situation, all political leaders across party lines must act together to protect the interests of the people. Now, what is even the primary purpose of government as contained in our constitution? 18 miles. I don't even like calling it 30 kilometers. 18 miles.
You know, we don't know about miles. It's 30
of road. Listen, public funds.
To land in Lagos.
to come and land in Lagos just to be seen around the president. These same people will not go to local governments in their state where people are being massacred daily. So, governance is not about the people. It's simply about those who are in government. And they want to have clean it is an insult. Because we are supposed to pretend that everything is okay. That's just the problem.
All right, Barrister, there's something that, okay, please, just complete your thoughts before I ask you this question, and Nuruddin and Joseph.
So what we are saying is that instead of looking for who to blame, whether at the federal government or at the state level, right, all these leaders need to come together and fashion out a solution. Because whether you want to remain president or governor, there must first of all be a country before you can remain president or governor. Is that not so?
Oh, definitely.
And the way this thing is going, the combined voltage coming from terrorism, banditry,
kidnapping,
and all these things, if they are not careful, there will be no country for anybody to fight to be president or be governor of a state.
The campaign from PDP, from Labour Party, everybody going to the APC. The issue of state police. I know Nuruddin will know why I'm bringing up this question. There's been a lot of talk. Oh, state police was going to rally. All states have now submitted their recommendation. I think even at the last FEC, the issue of state policing was stepped down for discussion at a later time. As we speak, there are a lot of Nigerians who now believe that, look, yes, we are between the devil and the blue sea, but at this point, the solution may actually be about decentralization of the policing structure of the country. Joseph Olorunsho is not impressed. Our politicians, especially the governors, and the tendency for them to misuse a state policing structure. But there are people who think that, look, whatever we have as a federal system, is a federal structure of the police is also subject to abuse, and that, look, the final solution, so that we don't have governors talking about the state level. Do you think that is the final solution, really? And at some point, we just have to accept that, look, that's what we have to do to solve this problem. Hello, Barrister.
Is it me?
Yes, I'm with you. Yes, so that
Bola Tinubu was not going to encourage state policing.
Why? I'm surprised that.
And the argument against state policing is that governors will use them for political gain. Governors will abuse the system. And I've always said there is no system that is born in perfection. Even the Nigerian police was used against the Nigerian people, and it's still being used against the Nigerian people. The native authority, as they were called then, the people who manage Nigeria through indirect rule, also use the police
against the people
to oppress against the people. Even under our democracy, from Obasanjo up until now, the Nigerian police is for hire, for the highest bidder and for the highest political power holder.
Sadly so.
So it is not a perfect police system. So I don't understand why we expect that state policing will have to start in perfection. Now, having said that, it's also important to note that the largeness of Nigeria as a country makes it almost impossible for the size of the police force we have to protect the country effectively. We're talking about 400,000 policemen.
Almost half of them guarding VIPs.
400,000. Over 50%
of that
are on
number.
VIP duties. Over 50%. And then we talk about those who are on the roads, especially in some parts of the country, less than half a kilometer, you see a police checkpoint.
Just doing their own road, just doing their own thing.
Then you talk about those who are providing securities for bank MD, their handbags, their wives, supermarkets,
the expatriates too,
and all that. And then those who are following, yes, they are expatriates, real expatriates, which are those who form part of the diplomatic corps. And then there's another group of expatriates, the Chinese. who are in the country for one kind of dubious thing or the other. They also have a large
police protection.
Of police protection. In fact, even when you see them walk on the street in the evening, like around the Ikeja GRA, every time you see the Chinese people walking on the street, either as a group or as individuals, you see mobile policemen following them with guns behind. Now, so and the communities to prevent crime. So that's one. And where you have a country where you have insecurity on an industrial scale,
as we have it,
not like the way you have industries, all over the place. That's how you have insecurity now. There is a need to have state policing. And this is why when you think about Nigeria, you just think that most times the people have elected or he and others coined the word true federalism.
Yes, you are talking of Kawifayemi, yeah.
That in a true federalism, the local government cannot be part of the federation. Who says? Where you copied democracy from? They have even gone beyond county police to township police.
Yes.
To township police. So in Nigeria, you have the federal police, right? You have the Lagos State Police. You have Ikeja
police,
township police. You have Anthony Tados. Because the argument that the governors were abused, yes, it may be true. But you know what? The courts will be there to prevent the governors.
A functional court system. We have to also say that one. Where is it?
That the police commissioner is actually not answerable to the governor.
To the governor.
Like you have in the U.S. here. In fact, there are some states in the U.S. where police commissioners contest elections to be elected by the people.
Yeah, elected by the people.
So, but what anybody in the presidency enjoys, like Obasanjo just said, you remember when he was, before he was elected, he was very large on reducing the power of the federal government and all that. But when he was sworn in, he said, "Oh wow, so this is how powerful the Nigerian presidency is. There's no way to. I'm going to dilute this."
And he enjoyed it for 8 years, only to be writing letter now.
Yes. Now Buhari came and said, "Oh, state police," and of course they made recommendations, and states were supposed to indicate whether they wanted state police. It is in their best interest to allow this situation to fester.
This robust policing structure we have to continue.
Oh, that the IGP, who is like a personal staff of the president, can send out notice from Abuja to all the commissioners, and the president work is already done. You heard how the fact that the election was deeply flawed. He committed to obeying the decision of the Supreme Court. And when the court said, "Well, we think the election was also deeply flawed, but the court of law is not the court of the people. The court of law, we have to depend on the law and the evidence. The opposition parties have not the result in a way that will preserve the future of the country." He embarked on the electoral reform. But the man who was the chair of that electoral reform, Justice White, I think he passed on 3 days ago.
Yeah,
3 or 4 days ago.
Yes, I think 2 days ago.
They to get into the future and want a better future for the people and country than their personal interest. We take a look at the lives of state police. That's what we have always seen. All the people who had the opportunity, they couldn't do it. You find out that the country is basically stagnant in terms of development. And when I'm talking about development, I'm talking about physical development. That's also part of it. But in terms of developing our laws
institutions,
and the mentality of the people, why can't we expand? What are they afraid of?
All right. What are they afraid
of? They just want to have maximum power.
Control everything. Well, but really, this idea of having maximum power, controlling everything. The IGP is loyal to me. I control the army, control the Air Force, control the police. We've seen situations where there's really nothing to control because, look, there's hardly any Nigerian now that can travel. You're looking as if somebody's going to come out from the bush to take you away from the road with your family. People have traveled now. You could see that there's apprehension in land. Look, Ido and other part, there used to be night travel. It was, in fact, I remember that at some point people like to travel at night.
Yes.
So that by the time you sleep in the bus, you wake up in the morning.
Even you get cheap.
It's cheaper. It's always cheaper. And then the idea is that look, because if you don't like the stress of traveling by road, so you go at night. You sleep. By the time you are waking up, you are already in Abuja, you are in Jos or wherever you're going to. But nobody can do that now because of the situation of the country. You have always said that, look, this state police is no good one. Barrister have also said it. Do you still stand by what you said in the past? And are we wasting time? Is it a lost situation? There's no hope anywhere. We're just going to be sloganeering about security. Why we continue to count the numbers of Nigerians that are being killed in different communities? That President Tinubu would not do. It's not going to make it work.
This is the first time we are going to have political president in Nigeria since 1999. Political president. A president that is a thoroughly bred politician. Those other ones, we call them asawo.
But it can play his politics, but still do the right thing to secure the people.
Look, so that people will understand what this notion of state police we are talking about. Let's assume we are 210 million as Nigerians. Now, we have police officers that are not up from all this constable. They've just, how many of them? They are not up to 10,000, even by real whatever. Now, let's assume all the police officers in Nigeria are protecting us. Nobody is attached to the wealthy people. Nobody is attached to anybody. If we divide it by 210 million, it's going to give us 1 officer to 525. Let's assume all police officers, they are not protecting any senator,
no VIP, they are protecting Nigeria.
They are protecting Nigeria. Is 1 police to 525 Nigerians. Let's now say, okay, it is 400. Half of it are the one following all the wealthy people.
The VIPs.
That means it's going to be one police officers to 1,050 Nigerians. So you see how it's very. The reason here is this: with what we have now, it's going to be very difficult. Is it police that you don't buy uniform for that have to use this? Is it the one that is going to protect you? Is it the police officer that every month they change him his salary and welfare package? Is he a police officer that nobody is going to give him any money to do investigation? That he will still collect money from the victim or from the accused?
You know, we had a case recently, and we see. I remember. I did not talk about that one.
So, by the time you put all this together, is it the same police that are not eating in the morning? The reason why
that's why we are saying that instead of having this central structure that is failing, that has failed completely, can we bring it down to? You think the states too will not do anything?
You know what? Every president. I'll give you an example. When the issue of Obasa and Merida happens, do you think they just have to do? We tried all the security details. What happened? The woman becomes nobody now. So
they just give Obasa and he went there.
Let me tell you, look, the reason why every president will never want to leave that kind of power. Is what it means is that if they want somebody to lost in a minute, it will lost.
Seconds.
So by the time they do all that, and the reason why we are clamoring for state police is this: even if the governors, we know them, they are too, they are not also not say 2 million police officers only for Lagos State. Or don't even say 2 million.
Let's say 200,000 for Lagos alone.
For Lagos alone,
yes.
200,000 out of the 20 local governments.
Yes.
You understand now? Let's just assume that in every local government we have an addition of 1,000.
In each local government.
In each local government. What it means is this: the number of people that will be available for our security at least
more
is much.
And available, yeah.
Then another thing again is this: what it means is that you are going to use those people that are living in Lagos State to protect the Lagos people.
So there's local intelligence.
There's local intelligence. The another person is that if you are going to use somebody to be the head of police, not even practicing, he's not even protecting the people of Agege. He's protecting his own family too.
He's a member of the community.
Because he's a member of the community. And one thing there is,
but you go carry one Musa from Azamfara
to come to Agege. And I used to tell you, since when we have Agege, in terms of policing, thank God that Monday Agbonika is now a commissioner. I saw him yesterday and I was very, very happy. This is the police officer. He's the longest service DPO in Agege. They took him, we wrote letter, they brought him back. because of what the man has done. Do you know what he did? He practically was living in Agege at one time.
Just to get a handle on the job.
And that is the thing. He can go to anywhere and go. He will enter. State police is
but that would have been better if we have this structure you're talking about.
State police is going to hard. Forget about all these neighborhood watch. Those ones is kind of jelly.
No, they are not.
Those ones, if our boys 10.
Do they still have bicycle? They used to ride bicycle.
If our boys 10, our boy was 10.
Who are our boys?
Our boys are
your friends in Agege. Okay. All right.
So if you have 50 of them,
yeah,
run away.
I don't know our people. You don't really know. But you think it is solution?
No, see the solution.
It will help, or it's the solution.
Help. It will help, but
and
for me,
it is the solution.
No, it is the solution, but they don't want it because they don't want.
Why?
People don't know. For Nigeria, we need to school our leader to know the meaning of power. Your power is actually to protect the weak. You understand? But here, the power is to
intimidate and
exterminate the weak completely. You understand? Now, let's look at if we are serious in this country. Two issues we must address. If any commissioner of police being posted to any state, before he reach there, they will get his accommodation ready. Everything, even though if you will need woman, they will get it ready to travel. When he reach there, no place to sleep,
no accommodation,
so no logistics, no arrangement.
And these are the real police who will protect the system. When you
the people on the street, the people in the storm.
If you don't protect that man that is going to protect people in Benue, people in Edo State, people in Delta, say you are being
I'm being diplomatic about
worst situation. You need to see the operation,
the conditions of these police officers.
These guys are operating. The secondly, look at our country. You will see a magistrate who are bringing a lot of sensitive issue to his court or a judge.
A magistrate judge.
So magistrate no will get one police.
I saw one magistrate that just have one.
No,
and the guy just sit down like
you now say a judge that is in a hardly a maybe that time of Evans.
Yes.
I know the judge that was under sometimes even the police that is following him, if I slap her and go for. You see, you are not protecting judges who are handling
sensitive, serious, critical
cases.
issues.
But if a senator, if House of Rep member is coming here today, they feel say all the police personnel in Anthony police station
come and stand
up, made a report here because one House of Rep is coming. But that judge, who when you give him, when he's protected, he will make sure that whether you are a politician, he will do justice to the case. So if a judge want to handle a case that is very sensitive, if ever ask his people, let me look at the surrounding of the court. Whether boys,
they will lay me after
whether boys no go come inside the court, they say judge, you are not sure of your protection, and they bring a case, certificate to you. You know go adjourn the case indefinitely.
We are even talking about those who have one role or the other to play in the government. What about the so-called businessmen? Cubana chief priest, Obi Cubana, Davido, all these musicians, so-called celebrities.
They are taking police station around.
The number.
Have you seen?
They can blow one.
Have you seen the convoy of policemen with them?
You go fear.
Have you seen the convoy
around?
Have you seen the convoy of policemen with the first son of Nigeria?
Barrister, I was at a party one day and MC Oluomo came into that party.
So
another boss brought the number of policemen.
During the Emefiele, the CBN former governor, now military regard that one not even police. When you say
the military, let me tell you, Emefiele did not have the military from the beginning. What happened was that after the DSS went to the court, they tried with the president first that they wanted to arrest Emefiele because he was funding terrorism.
Terrorism, yeah.
And what do they mean by he was funding terrorism? Emefiele had given out so much money to anchor borrowers. The
so-called rice farmers, we don't farm anything.
Yes. So they couldn't repay the money, right? And at some point, they told Emefiele that the reason why they could not repay the money was because of the bandits and terrorists not allowing them to go to their farm. I understand that the meeting was organized in Dubai, where Emefiele met the representatives of those bandits and terrorists. And a certain amount of money was agreed upon to be paid to them so they can allow the farmers to go back to their farm. And he paid that money. Now, the DSS got wind of that payment and they went to the president and said, this man is funding terrorism. So they went to the court to arrest to get an order of court to arrest him, and the court said, I remember it was Justice Sᴏᴜ then. Justice Sᴏᴜ said, look, you have the power of arrest. If you think he has committed offense, why do you need my order before you can arrest him? Go and arrest him. So he refused to give them the order. Then 괰ᴜᴜ got wind of the situation, went to court to try to prevent his own arrest. When that didn't happen, because the judge said it was speculative, he now went to the president and they arranged soldiers to wait for him at the airport. So you can imagine soldiers working for the same government, protecting somebody from arrest from another agency of government.
The same, you know, there was there was a lot of problem really in the Buhari era. One more.
That was why you started seeing 괰ᴜᴜ going around with the soldier. I think he still has the soldiers going around with him, Abi.
Which soldier? Which soldier? As he did, and him and God. He did listen. He not follow him again. We ain't for waiting. From fear we.
Oh, okay.
Even ordinary, what are they don't follow up.
One big Bible.
Problem, man.
I didn't see the Bible with him the last time.
No, as people,
do you know
he can't the day for press now. He can't carry maybe.
I'm with you,
Let me tell you one thing that I saw that shocked me some times ago. Down the next day, we saw him in the traffic driving himself.
That's a governor.
He was not afraid.
A former governor.
Yes, he was not afraid to drive himself. You can get up from your house any time of the day and want to travel. You will travel. Nobody stops you. You're not afraid of being attacked on the road. They can. Majority of the people in power are not thinking about the people that are not in power. They think that the resources of the state that are available are only available to take care of them. Do you understand? They don't care.
Okay.
After all, the same people have access to public funds. The same people are busy decorating themselves with national honor.
Everything.
So once you get elected to government, then you are qualified for honor. You see why we kill, why we the razzmatazz of security going around. Look at the convoy of the president, for instance.
I fear.
Look at the convoy of a state governor. I told you how I saw the convoy of the Osun state governor and counted about 7 Lexus SUVs. Yet he was the only one. A poor state like Osun. Go to other parts of the world where political office holders are working for their people. There's less emphasis.
Was it not in a country where there's a particular governor that rides bicycle to the office?
Yes. Even the prime minister is almost equivalent of a president.
Yes. I'm with you, Barrister. Yes.
The prime minister of Netherlands.
Yes.
Rides bicycle to the office.
I said I was one particular one, a mayor. My friend was going. We were talking on video. He said, don't worry, I will show you now. Look at the man behind me. I said, who is he? He said, that is my mayor. And that one walked up to that video. Mayor, hello. Say hello to my friend in Nigeria. Yeah. And I asked, where are you going? He said, I'm going to the office. Why are you not in vehicle? No. My house is down there. My office is down there. I have to trek without no security, mayor.
Well, even they are security, maybe just some secret service people.
Police the environment.
Because it's not only him. They are guiding everybody, irrespective of who you are.
All right, still political roundtable. I decided that we're going to stay on this issue of insecurity by bringing in the Benue state angle, because again, we've done a lot of talking about politics and you know, the cost of the job we do, we see these reports. A lot of them we can't even bring up for conversation because there's a way it just breaks you down completely. So we try to somehow manage the amount of information that comes to us. There are people who share videos. There are people badly. You know, things have gone for the people in most parts of the country at this time when it comes to insecurity. It's still political roundtable mainland, and we've dealt with the issue of insecurity. What Reverend Father Alia is saying about politicians sponsoring insecurity in Benue State. A lot of talk about state policing, why it may never happen, why it is the next thing to do to secure the people in the country at this time. I'm going to be stepping down the second issue for conversation, which is the issue of defection, since there are still more people that will defect, has been projected already,
and there are some people that are still defect. They will still defect.
So when we see more defections will bring the issue back. But of course, we've announced that eventually and finally, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Eno, because of his convictions, said that, look, I am not going to defect. One of the commissioners wrote a letter resigning from the government that, look, because of his own conscience and what he believes in,
I can't go with you.
I will not be defecting with you. We talk about this particular issue, but let's come back to Lagos by Curtis. The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, was at Abuja area. Many important officials attended the event, including Babagana Zulum, governor of Borno State. But in Lagos, we had a conversation about the president refusing to shake hands with the governor of Lagos State. Another event, a major event, also happened on that axis, and the governor was absent. And that has got a lot of Lagosians asking questions. What is going on between the governor and the president? It's because again, why we need to talk about this, because again, we've seen the president come to Lagos and practically find mosque there, even though he was not observing the prayers. But now we've seen the president moving around, the governor is not with him. He's the host governor, for God's sake. So what's going on? And people are saying that, look, there's trouble in the land. The governor may just be on his way out. I'm coming, barrister. And so
I'm picking the fight.
This one, Baba Pekin, you know, this is the governor of Lagos State. Among themselves, they can be talking about Baba Pekin. But as Lagosians, we are worried for our governor, because there's a lot of talk about the fact that his seat may just be threatened. He may just be on his way out because of what seemed to be an obvious frustrated relationship between him and the president. We know how we play our politics, whether we like it or not. Last week, I think we had that conversation that if the president wants him out of office today, just if command. It is possible,
just command.
It's going to happen.
In fact, we have a date. From my investigation, I'm hearing that he has been told to resign in August.
All right. Now, again, all speculations, nothing. A lot of things flying around. Like Basta said, some of the information we got was that, look, he's been given the marching orders, has been told that, look, it's a soft landing so that they don't impeach you. Resign by August. We don't know whether that is true. But some of the things we've heard from some party members who spoke with us, because again, we had to dig deep what's going on. One of the things they said, and we need to ask ourselves whether any of the things I'm going to list now is enough for the president to be so annoyed with the governor to the point where it's now obvious that he doesn't want to be seen around the president. Barrister Curtis, the first one we've been told is that, look, the president is not happy with him because of how the president lost Lagos in the last general elections. The second one is that, look, he was not given the express approval to remove Obasa, and that the governor facilitated the removal of the governor, of the former speaker, who is now the speaker, right, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, and that, look, that has angered the president, who thinks that, look, the political structure of Lagos State is being tampered with by the governor, who has not been given the permission to ever near anything politics, talk less of the political structure that the president has built in Lagos. The second one, there's also the talk about the poor performance of the governor. That, look, a lot of Lagosians are frustrated. A lot of party members are disappointed with the performance of the governor, to the point where the president thinks that, look, he's incompetent and it's time for him to go. There's also the lack of commitment to the re-election of the president in 2027. That, look, you've had the Senate president, you've had some governors of the party, the governor of Imo State, everybody making statements, senators are appearing on TV, all pushing the 2020. That's also the reason why the president thinks, oh, why are you not so committed to whatever he's already pushing for? Again, some of the things we've also gotten. The other one is that, look, alleged cases of corruption. We've talked about the lady that's Achimogu, whether there was something about money laundering or buying of oil well. A lot of speculations, really, because again, there's been a lot of stories around the relationship of the governor with this particular woman that also celebrated a birthday, that had to get the governor going there to celebrate with her. And then there are also people who think that, look, there's just a grand plan ahead of 2027 to get the deputy governor to complete the remaining 2 years, to pave way for the choice you think really could be the reason why Governor Sanwo-Olu is in trouble with the president?
Well, other than the fact that Sanwo-Olu has served his purpose and it's time to dispense with him. Now, all the accusations against him are things you can rationalize, even as a watcher from a distance. Oh, he did not perform well first term. I think he did. He delivered the presidency to Tinubu. Lagos State, the mandate for his first term was spin of the operation among the governors and members of the National Assembly to ensure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu becomes the candidate of the party. He was everywhere. So he delivered on that mandate. I want you to understand that that was his mandate. Sanwo-Olu did not lose. To be able to re-strategize on his own elections. We saw how he was literally everywhere trying to. Can you point to any Nigerian who believed that Tinubu will lose in Lagos State? So the governor believed that Lagos was secured for the president. Unfortunately, they all read a political thermometer wrongly. And Tinubu lost that election, which then became a blessing in disguise for the same Tinubu. Because part of the talking point of his supporters, trying to justify that the election they're producing was a perfect election, is that they will point to his loss in Lagos and say, oh, you said this election that he lost in Lagos and he won in other places was not good election. That same election that they are still blaming him for. Of course, we heard rumors about how he went to the villa and he was embarrassed sometimes for that loss. You know, when a woman loses favor with her husband, he begins to innovate reasons why the woman will have to go. So you're talking about Obasa. Yes, and that will have credibility because why the state governor is not staying with the president, the state, not just the state governor, but the host governor, we saw for the first time, the first lady has taken pictures with only, I think, 2 or 3 group of people who have visited the president so far. She took the first picture with the video. He took another picture with Obasa.
Obasa, yes.
And then I think the last one with one woman. The woman, if you saw the video, that knelt down with before the president.
But Barrister, sorry to cut in. Just 1 minute. We're getting reports, and I think it's been reported by a section of the media that the governor and the governor's advisory council have eventually met with the president. That's Governor Sanwo-Olu met the president alongside the governor's advisory council in Lagos. That's being reported by a section of the media. So we will track that.
What is the outcome? What is the outcome of that? Because last week we were told the Oba of Lagos was also meeting with them to reconcile them.
But the GAC and the governor seem to have been able to meet with the president.
Problem of our democracy. The individualization and the personalization of political power. If democracy works the way it should work, maybe Sanwo-Olu will not be governor of Lagos State, and maybe he will be governor of Lagos State. But now that he's governor of the state, the president can live in the state, and the governor can live in the state,
without us even bothering whether he visited him or not.
As I speak to you right now, President Trump is in New Jersey at his Bedminster golf course. Governor Murphy of New Jersey has not called him. He has not gone there.
And nobody will even bother why he should even go and see
and there is no speculation as to why the governor and the president...
But not be US, this one is Nigeria.
But see, the situation in Nigeria is that even when the president visits Lagos, all the governors in the southwest...
They will leave their states. Even those in the north will come to Lagos.
We congregate in the north. So this is why the fact that it's not being seen with the president has become a major issue and a major talking point. And the president is not helping matter. When the president took over the power of a state governor as to what can be approved and what will not be approved. And I don't want to say that this president suffers from selective amnesia. In the sense that when he was the governor of Lagos State, his then Attorney General Shibajo took the federal government to the Supreme Court, claiming that even for federal land in Lagos, it is the state alone that can give approval.
Approval, yeah. And they eventually won. They won eventually.
And that is the reason why, even if you are given the land, the Banana Island today,
you must get approval from the state.
You have to go
building approval
and do regularization.
Yes.
The same thing for Ikeja GRA and some other places.
Ikoyi, any federal land, Festac and co.
Yes. So for the same president to mount the rostrum and to say that the approvals given to Lagos State government on the setback will be revoked and it will never happen again. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
And then you say he needs to understand that no matter how powerful he is the leader of this country. The president cannot be reaching out to governors of other parties and bringing them closer to himself and bringing them to his party. And yet, his own governor, the governor of the state,
he's being treated like an outcast.
It's making him an outcast. See how the traditional rulers we talked about last week, the one of Elegushi and the one of Oniru. We have seen their picture with the president. They have been reconciled.
Yes.
So what exactly is the crime of this man?
Maybe this visit to the GAC would put all of that to rest, don't you think, Barrister?
But and this is one of the abnormalities of our policy. The GAC is not even a body known to the Constitution of Nigeria. The office of the governor is subject to the approval and acceptance of the GAC.
It's a political pressure group or political interest group.
Very powerful.
In the APC.
Very powerful.
They can remain a pressure group, but they should have nothing to do with the office of the governor. The governor can service their political interest. Do you understand? But you see, when it comes to exercising the power of the office, it's only the governor who can do that.
But if it is true from the reports we are getting that the governor and GAC has gone, why didn't he go alone? Why did he have to take the entire GAC to meet with the president?
Meanwhile,
they target that all his sins have been forgiven. The president said, "Well, now I'm not angry. All your sins have been forgiven."
That's what the report is saying. Hello, Barrister.
But you know the funny thing?
Yes.
The same man traveled with that governor to Akwa Ibom to receive Eno to the party. In fact, from the video that I saw, he was the one commending Akpabio on his mansion. So he's happy. He's excited among his colleagues. Then when he gets to Lagos,
G3 to meet with the president, fidget
like a leper. I think that the president needs to do a rethinking on what he's doing to the governor. Now, I have heard that the game plan is to get him back to take over the next 2 years and then satisfy his governorship ambition, and then he won't be able to stick for the office again and pave way for others. Nobody, no matter how powerful you are, nobody is God.
Okay, nobody is God. Ultimate power. Thank you so much, Barrister. I think I'll to allow you to go. The line is already buzzing with into the time of our callers. Thank you so much, Barrister, for the commitment. To wish you all the best in the United States of America, the country of Donald J. Trump. Thank you so much, Barrister.
Plot for Gaza if they share land.
All right, thank you, Barrister.
I need to plot for Gaza if they share land.
Don't mind me. All right.
The chief of staff was also there. The speaker was also there. The senators, the 3 senators in Lagos.
So you think all is resolved now? The report did not say what eventually what happened.
You know now that
so we shall allow it slide.
This kind of meeting.
They will just tell us the resolution.
They will just in the little few days. There's some filtering that will come out.
Some information will come out. That's what.
And one thing about Tinubu as a politician is this: if he said, "I have forgiven you," apart from the one of Ambode, that he was just playing dilly-dallying until the last day,
and he said, "No, I don't want to."
But one thing that is there is this: I think they don't want rancor, just like what Mr. Folorunsho said last week. That when they say Ikini Kebe during the time of Fashola, for him going for second term, his problem. Ambode did not have the opportunity.
No, people at this time it was a tough one really for him to get a second term. Ambode somehow at the end of the. Although the president would always say that, look, it was not about me; it was about the.
But this one is about him.
Well, that's what people are saying. We are not even sure.
I will still continue to say this. The president, for me, naturally is a kingmaker.
No, it's
a kingmaker.
That's well established.
In my village,
yes.
Anytime kingmaker become a king, you cannot keep just only a lot of mistakes.
So whenever the kingmaker becomes a king, he has to be very careful.
A lot of mistakes. You need a lot of
wisdom.
If not, you would do something.
You see me behaving
like a kingmaker.
You understand?
So you think that being a kingmaker and being the
for me, many of us were saying we are calling the governor of Lagos boy to the president. It was everywhere.
No, I said there was a time the president went to the mosque. He sat down there and said,
if everybody said that the governor of Lagos is not loyal to the president,
then there must be something wrong somewhere. Or now.
And even in the future, I think the president is just deceiving the president.
The man has always been loyal.
My own kind of advice is, dear president, you are a wonderful person, but you the president not manage Lagos very well. 2027 is going to be a very, very tall order.
So the president might even start from Lagos.
See, Goga fight for my own village. If you cannot conquer your immediate environment, you have issue you cannot resolve. Now say you want to resolve. Some of these people that are promising him 100%.
2 million votes. 2 million votes.
Even whether security, all of them will be singing.
You think he needs to get his home steady?
He should just allow the man as a governor of Lagos to do his work.
It's also giving peace to himself. That's a word of wisdom to a word of advice to the president from Joseph. Hello, good evening. We need to open the phone line. Sorry that we have to get into your the time of the callers. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Lucky from Yanakwaja.
Yeah, Lucky, 1 minute.
Good evening, Mr. Lucky.
So, what this governor? She died in their middle. Instead, your work is just to be a governor, nothing like that. But my main calling this evening is that I don't bother about their defection or not defection. All I believe that God wants to change Nigeria because God wants to pack all of them for one vote. Then we are going to vote them out. They want to pack all of them. That's what they are talking of this. Let's look at Delta State. I'm able to defend. They're not able to 2,000 or 3,000 people. But the remaining 5 million, they are there.
So you think the defections does not really mean anything? People will still
No.
It will be sure. That's sure. I doubt.
Me, I'm just afraid of INEC defection. That is just.
INEC should not defend too. When INEC defend.
09136000410. 09136000410. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soapua.
Good evening.
Thank
you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well, with you. 1 minute, sir.
Thank you. First of all, on the issue of security, is what I want to mention. I'm concerned seriously about security. You see, like your analyst, analyzed that the responsibility of citizens for the airline. It's not for us. It's really for the airline. Look, as of today, but the rest of us, the same thing with the ranching or no ranching. It was stable one time. Nothing comes out of it. So punishing the whole Nigeria, and that is why food is very costly. The farmers cannot go to farm. That is why the extension of punishment go to us. And you see, it's worrisome the way I look at it. And government should do something about it. On the issue of Lagos State, to me, something that's fire on the mountain, and everybody knows that. Okay. But like Joseph said, your analyst, you mentioned.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Mr. Kangolina.
Yes, Mr. Kangolina. Please go on, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mafuluku.
Oh yeah, please, 1 minute.
Breaking news. There's light.
In Mafuluku.
But no celebrate.
The light just come now. I don't know how long it will last.
Somebody shout hallelujah. Please go on.
Oh, that's what. You say one of the key points against the governor is that he's not performing.
No, like what people are saying, we don't know for sure.
That's what I don't think that thing is genuine. Because the person who is accusing the governor of performing,
that they are saying, we are not sure.
Whether they say or not, what has he performed? No, it's a question now.
So you think it could not have been about performance? Really?
It could not have been about performance at all because you are picking, you're not going to born picking where you're not going to resemble you. That is the thing. So he's just doing like his papa is doing. Okay. Simple.
But
that's the only point I was telling
father would
people.
always want the child to perform better than him.
No. It can't be like that. Your children are just looking at what you are doing.
Yes.
If you are not doing well, you don't expect your children to do well.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, because they learn by doing.
All right, thank you. At least you have light today.
Hello, good evening. Terry.
Mr. Henry, where are you calling from, sir? You're welcome, sir. Please go on.
Yeah, follow Sean knows me very well.
Okay, please. 1 minute, sir, because of time, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Is it the issue between the current president and Fashola? Sorry?
Ambode, Sanwo-Olu, sorry. Fashola.
Fashola.
Sanwo-Olu.
No. The person who broke out this for him to allow Fashola to go second term.
Okay.
I worked with that fellow.
Okay.
Right? Okay. I was a chief protocol officer then. Then that was when, if not, he exceeds the Baba Sote. Once he just see that Lagos State is in his pocket, and that's what Wike wants to take up. That's what I call to correct. If it's not the fellow.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, my brother. Yeah, Fuad, God bless you people for your good work.
Thank you.
Greet everybody. Or everybody in the studio. Okay is my name.
Okay, Mr. Okim. Where are you calling from, Mr. Okim?
I'm from Abulado. Under
right. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay. My beloved brothers and sisters, you know, when you throw confusion in other families, in your family, the most is Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. The Bible says that with God is no more. Whatsoever a man sow, so shall he reap. Says whatever thing a man sows, so shall he reap. This man has thrown confusion the whole Nigeria, even the courts that in your own home. It will not be okay now. It will not be okay. In fact, God want to use this way so that there was scatter so that Nigeria will be okay.
All right.
Thank you. Where I will go now? I'm not still going now. Mokwa don't block anywhere, and I don't get money. And now my family in here than this. So no.
So you just celebrate for Lagos here? Yes. Go on.
Yes, I just celebrate with the small Kwamo and Lagos State Governor. He was hit by intercontinental ballistic missile.
Even if they reconcile now, that's what you are saying.
Forget about reconciliation of politicians. Just like you are in the best. You and your opponents, wherever you concern, just the local governors are lobbying with this governor before the president. So he was respected by this president. But you know what? No politician would like to hear that this person is working against you.
He's not loyal to me.
Yes. So this is that. You know, he may know that place better than me with his influence and everything. You get me? But Oga Forward, you see that particular state. Remember the two that are not involved. You get me? But it's a state owner now. He's not loyal to government, to president. For Plateau, it's religion, not herdsmen. It's religion completely. If Ope will tell you the truth, he knows Plateau very well. Plateau issue is not harder than indigenous. It's completely 89.9%.
Religious issue.
You understand?
Okay.
It's a religion issue.
All right. Do the right thing to protect the people. There will always be 1,001 reasons. But there should not be any justified reason for anybody to take another man's life. That's what we're saying. So we're not really even about the reasons. Can the government just find a way to address whatever the issue? Nobody should be above the law. Protect every Nigerian. That's what we stand for here on Political Roundtable. We'll take some of the messages, a lot of them actually, from our Facebook platform before we call it a day on the show. Abdul Rafiu Alabalakwe is saying, I salute you guys emphatically, but Mr. Fuad failed to send me. You are a Muslim too, Abdul Rafiu. This guy, and I'm sure that in Ojo there, you sabi do this kind of thing where. But he's saying concerning Governor Alia's allegations of insecurity taking place in Benue, it's right time for the National Assembly to carry out special investigation on the allegations so that Nigerians can see where the true killings of the innocent people of Benue is coming from. Nigerians cannot condone it anymore. And lastly, the National Assembly should hasten the passage of the state and community policing bill. He also thinks that quickly we should resolve this issue of state police.
The bill that have not even been presented,
well, there are even no resolutions here that Sunday. I quite love the awareness the program tries to inject in the body conscience of the Nigerian people. But finally, how many Nigerians on here on the round table? Again, these people in various government houses around the country do not care about all the good ideas and suggestions your contributors churn out every week. We have our say. They have their way. We hope that they are listening. I'm sure they are listening because we get reactions. Trust me.
When we talk again,
there's a way. In fact, for some of these, we say we get reactions. Atodaka this someone is saying, body loan thanks Otumba Segun Sowunmi. Just discipline yourself. We know that most of these visits are more political than for Salah celebration. Are you yourself know?
No, he said somebody they did not know that you should go and have those people that go to Yaradua's house. Maybe they are still going there.
Are you not even the people say more people should come? If you say they come, why are you not calling for more people to come? You know these politicians. Ishola Davin surprised about the people defecting to APC, the party. Okay, all right. You don't go south with this message. So where do you want the files to be? If not behind the wound, my name is Davin Ishola. Okay. We have the governor. This is John Bernardo. Even saying the governor of Benue State is confused. First, he said the attackers have no. I see some good reasons why he defected from the excuse he gave after winning an election, and you were later told by the court that you belong to the wrong. The PDP need to put their house in order. Well, every politician that wants to defect
will give you reason.
In fact, the reason
if you want to defect back too,
he will give another reason. So, but again, I think this is a good reason for Governor Eno to defect.
PDP has no faction currently now under the law.
Might just be the same vision.
God told him to.
There will be a faction now. Okay, we have Kester Chris Biera, who said the day Peter Obi was barred from entering the state by the governor. Unfortunately, the survivors of the killing will still line up at the site of 2 cups of rice and noodles in the next election to vote for these leaders. On the seemingly frustrated relationship between Sanwo-Olu and his godfather, those who don't know the dictator, the antecedent of the godfather should ask 2 former deputy governors, Femi Pedro and Mrs. Buckner about their experience with the man. I don't need to remind them too sincerely. Let me start by saying I like what Mr. Joseph said. Our security chiefs are giving jobs with no deadlines or job prescriptions. I think the appointment of our security chiefs are political compensation in Nigeria for incompetence. Well, that's the part of the message I can take. James Nwachi. Then we have Olayoju Jeremiah who's saying, good afternoon, sir. This is Jeremiah from Germany, currently a master's student. Despite my busy schedules, I was born into a country. It's a beautiful country, I must say, fantastic country. Always proud to be a Nigerian. Kola Wale Kazim is saying, I think we should not blame the police, their inability to find the studio. Firstly, powers behind the killers of the farmers are very powerful. A long message, thank you. We have a very Chukwu Chiopris who sent in a message to Jen Bernard. He also gave us that everybody went there.
In fact.
All right, thank you so much.
The media actually doing their work.
All right.
Yes, now.
God, we need to raise some of those issues so that
if I'm not talking about it, but now, all the sins are forgiven.
According to the report. Well, thank you so much. What do you have for us today?
Just came from the basic.
What do you have for us? Because we need to leave the studio.
Especially the women that will wait till elderly.
That one. I thought you saw that video that's going on.
These people are ready on standby to give us the best of conversation around marital issues.